is anybody confident that Tua would even be ready for this season? And at what point would he be fully ready to play? Mm-hmm. So, like any team drafting him, I think you have to weigh that. So if you're the Redskins, would you, let's say you're not sold that he'll be ready for the season, are you really going to go take a guy who, let's say he can't really do a whole lot till then that time starts, what are his contributions going to be to you that year? And so why would you take wasting a pick on him, knowing that, and then knowing his injury history at Alabama? I think that's the biggest thing, is the durability concern. So do you roll that dice on a guy with those injury questions about his game? I think without the health, he's a fantastic player. I mean, as far as, when you're projecting him, but the health is an issue here, and the durability is an issue. So I think it's really hard to separate that. I think, to me, the harder choice would be if Cincinnati took Chase Young and Joe Burrow is sitting there, just because of the Tua can be a great player, but the durability concerns are real, and that's why I think last thing on this is the big thing will be the medical stuff at the combine is big, but then also the further medical tests that each team does when he visits will be huge.
Well, what if the doctors and the medicals are all clear? What if they say, yeah, he's 100%?
Well, I think they'll be all. I think that then to me sets the timetable for when he can come back, and when he'd be ready for you that year. So that's good, but I don't know how much will they be able to allay the concerns over the durability. And that would be my one question. And if you go in there thinking, okay, yeah, his hip is fine, but he's had this injury, he's had that injury, he's had this. I just think that may be difficult for some teams in the Redskins position, where you have a young guy who has his own question marks, but you have a young guy, and which way is the bigger roll of the dice, and so I don't know. I just think it may be hard to pass up on a guy like Chase Young, or a trade for a guy that you may have real durability concerns about. Now, if you don't have that, then I think you have a different conversation. But I think that would be the case.
You're hearing kind of positive things from both Rivera and Kyle Smith about Haskins. What is your sense about where they stand with Haskins right now? Are they thrilled? Are they mildly pleased? What do you think?
I would say I think they are excited by the way he finished, what he showed those in the last couple games, the last month, and not just like on the field, but I think the work that they felt like he was putting in, and then I think they clearly seem to be pleased about what he's showing in the offseason. But I think that part, to really get fully excited, it's going to have to come on the field. It's not, I don't, what I mean? I think it's going to take more than that, but I think I would say there's some cautious optimism. And I think the other thing is, I think they feel like they have a plan where they can really push him. And I think that's where I think they may want to test to see how that plan works. But I do think that they feel like they have that. And I think, that's why I feel like they may end up passing on a guy. Again, the durability is a huge thing, but I think that's where I think they are with him. But I think it's been good so far. I mean, it's February. I think that, like I said, the real key will be when you get out on the field and when you're installing the offense, and then how is he operating within that, and what's the process going with there.
Right. Where do you think, I said earlier, I don't know if you were listening, I think that Haskins still, I give him credit, I still think he has a pretty high ceiling, but I also think he has a pretty low floor. Like, he could really bust, but I still think there's a chance that he could really be very good.
He's started 21 games combined in college and the NFL.
Yeah.
So he is still growing. I think there's a lot he has to learn. It's not just, I think you have to learn, and he even talked about it last year, how to be an NFL quarterback. It's different. And so I think that part of his game, if he matures like that, the kid is ultra talented, right? Now, I did have some players would say, well, what does that mean? What does being talented mean? All these guys in the NFL are talented, so what separates? So I think that's where you want to see the most growth if you're the Redskins. He is young. I mean, he's 22, and if he does the things that they want him to do, he can improve.
Right.
I mean, it's just, so I think, like I said, here's the other thing. and he didn't do this, so you can't say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. What if he had gone back to college and goes back to Ohio State? They have a much better defense, so they're a much better team. He probably puts up bigger numbers, or really big numbers still, and now you're looking at 2 years of huge numbers at Ohio State. What would the conversation be like now with all these quarterbacks? So I think that's, and I don't know if that's like a fair thing to say or not. I don't know if it's a legitimate thing to say, but it is something that, part of me wonders, because if he had gone back and he has another big year, he would have been a Heisman finalist again. And now you're looking at maybe a different conversation.
All right, well, it's the old Buckeye bias, I see.
A little bit.
I see where we're going.
But I mean, I think it's fair to wonder because he would have put up those numbers. That's a really talented team.
Sure.
And the team was better this year. So I think that's one thing I wonder about, like, would that have changed anything at all about the perception or the conversation going forward? Now, of course, that didn't happen. We saw what happened this year. We know all the stuff that was coming out. And I think that's where why there's this conversation about maybe going with a Tua from some corners. And so, but I do think that right now they felt like the phrase I kept hearing, like, they're excited, but clearly nobody is ready yet to say, hey, the Redskins, the Redskins aren't saying, hey, we got our guy for the next 5 or 10 years. I think they still want to see more before they get to that point.